Hi guys, Laura Hudson here with AFC Essentials. I am so excited to do today's live because this topic is one that is near and dear to me. I just find cleaning up the mind to be so helpful and key to help to weight loss and to just happiness in general. Sorry, I'm trying to find my notes over here. So today we're going to talk about cleaning up your mind. We want to talk about how weight loss doesn't start in the kitchen or the gym. Yes, good food habits and exercise help, but guess what? Really, the mind is where the power is. So, for some reason, I'm having trouble finding this. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to chat about is we have been talking in the group. We've kind of changed. We've kind of changed our format a little bit, and we are kind of giving a challenge at the beginning of the week. I want this group to be a little more interactive, a little more personal, not so much me just posting information out there. So, what I was wanting to see this week, we've been talking about 5 habits to give up immediately. And when I'm looking at these habits, I'm noticing they're mental habits, right? They're worrying, talking negatively to yourself, dwelling on things of the past, and talking yourself out of going after your dreams. And this is all mind work, guys. And really, the mind is key to weight loss. So let's dive in. We want, you have to believe that things can change. Do you find yourself ever saying, I can't lose weight, or really mean things to yourself like, what's the point? I've done this before. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. We really want to work. I want to help you make some mindset shifts, because weight loss doesn't start in the kitchen or the gym, but it really starts in the mind. Instead, I want you to think positive thoughts like, I can do this. I am smart. This is achievable. So what you want to do is think of a time in your life when you have lost weight. When have you lost weight? Was it when you were so busy, so happy with some part of your life that food didn't draw you in so much, and you just kind of naturally ate less, and you were having fun, you were living your life, and you lost some weight, right? Or maybe it was a time in your life where you were sick and you couldn't eat, and that was like a tough time, but you lost some weight. So I want you to think back and look at those life points as okay, it can happen. I can lose weight. I've done it before. Now you might be thinking, well, it wasn't like the normal diet, push, work, weight loss, but maybe it was another way. But this is the thing, guys. Weight loss doesn't have to be dieting. It doesn't have to be about deprivation. And in fact, it won't last most of the time if that's how it is for you. So if you think back to a time in your life when you were at maybe closer to your ideal weight, or you lost weight, and maybe it was a time when maybe you first fell in love and life was great and you were just so happy, maybe that is a time that weight loss or maintaining your weight was effortless, right? So that's a clue, right? That's a clue. Write these down. We're going to get really curious about when in the past you've lost weight. We're going to get curious about how it happened. We're gonna check that off and say, yes, I did lose weight. I can do that. This is a time that I have done it before, and so I know I can do it again. I know my body is capable. Sometimes we tell ourselves these lies. We say, well, it's my hormones, or I'm not able to lose weight because it's in my genes, or whatever, but we actually have proof that it can happen for us. So I want you to think of those and kind of, this is your proof that it can happen. And some side notes. I don't know if you know that overweight people tend to show more symptoms of depression and anxiety, and using food as comfort leads to weight gain, and it leads to that cycle continuing. And you're like, okay, Laura, I knew that. I didn't need you to tell me that. But just know that this habit, this pattern you find yourself in, is common. And my goal is to help you to change that. So First, or the next step would be change how you view food. When you sit down to eat, how do you feel? Do you feel stressed about trying to determine what to eat? Do you feel concerned that you're not going to pick the right food? Do you feel like, oh, I'm eating this. Is it healthy? Is it not? This isn't on my diet. Do you feel like overwhelmed? Do you even sit down to eat and you don't even know what you like because you've been on diet so long that tell you what to eat? You just really need to learn to look at food differently. Food is meant to nourish the body. Food is meant to be enjoyed. Food is meant to be enjoyable. It's meant to taste good, right? So we want to stop making food bad, even something that you think is bad. I want you to start shifting the way you look at that. Food is not the enemy. Food is actually meant to nourish the body, to give you some joy. Actually, did you know that? Food is actually meant to give you joy. And if every time you sit down to eat, you're stressed out, that is not good, because stress actually increases cortisol, increases insulin, causes the belly fat that we don't like, and it actually can be negative, have negative effect on weight loss. Stress. Let me tell you some tips on stress. It causes a decreased ability to lose weight, to burn fat, build muscle. It makes it harder to regulate your appetite. You can't access the executive decision-making function of the brain when you're stressed. So that smart part of your brain that tells you you've had enough, you can't even access that when you're stressed. So we don't want to eat in a stress state. And so if the idea of food and eating and what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, if that makes you stressed out in general, then that's a great place to start. Let's start by taking these labels off of food. Start by not making certain foods good or bad. And did you know that research actually shows we will crave foods that we are told not to eat? Right? So why are we following a diet? Why are we following these rules where we shouldn't eat certain foods and these can and can'ts? Now, I do know there's certain situations where there's health concerns involved, right? People maybe even have allergies. Like I have an allergy to almonds, and I used to eat a lot of almonds, and I have a bit of an almond allergy. I can eat a little bit of it now, but not as much as I used to be able to. So I have to watch what I eat when it comes to that. So I've just found some substitutes. So yes, we are going to have certain things, like maybe if you're diabetic, you don't want to eat a lot of sugar. I get that. So I'm not telling you to eat something that's unhealthy for you medically. But what I'm trying to do is kind of get you away from these rules that cause you actually to eat or crave what you are trying not to eat. That's kind of counterproductive, isn't it? And that's why I don't talk about denial, because it really doesn't work long term. We really want to work on creating a new way of eating, creating a new, we can call it a diet. Everyone's on a diet because diet is really just a way of eating. So I want to help you create a new way of eating that works for you. So instead of drastically changing how you eat, think about how you eat now. Let's do a quick example. What if, for breakfast, you have a donut and coffee, and then snack time is a candy bar, lunch is, a sandwich with French fries and a shake, and snack in the afternoon, maybe you have some fruit, I don't know. And then dinner is a pizza and a beer. So you look at that and you're like, oh, I want to lose weight. And then you hear about a certain diet plan you want to follow. And of course, it's going to have not much of those foods in it, right? And your whole way of eating is drastically changed. And you feel really deprived and things feel really hard for you. So I would just look at making some small changes. Swap that donut out for a healthier granola bar or something if you're wanting to make a switch to something that's fast and easy. Instead of a candy bar, find a really good protein ball recipe and make those up and take those to work. I mean, there's so many ways to kind of just tweak things with how you're eating instead of making a drastic shift. And And so that is really key as well. So kind of back to stress, I wanted to touch a little bit on what do you want to do? Like, okay, so you're stressed when you eat. You're stressed out because life is busy. You're stressed out because the kids are at home. You're stressed out because you can make a list, right? I don't need to make that for you. So you want to learn to find new ways to cope with your stress. You want to find new ways to cope with discomfort. You want to learn how to sit in discomfort for a little bit. You want to learn that you don't always have to reach for something like food to just fill the void. And you want to think about it. You want to get curious. Like, why am I reaching for food? Will it really make me feel better? Like long term, like logically, will that make me feel better? And sometimes if you really think it through, you know it won't. So maybe instead, try to find something you enjoy doing. Like, is there a little hobby you have or used to have that you enjoy? Is there an activity you can do that would feel good? Do you need just to get out of the house, maybe run to the store, just to kind of get out a little bit? Because we're all feeling a little bit, kind of cooped up. And especially here in Indiana, we have lots of snow. So that makes things a little bit more challenging. So you want to think about, again, finding new ways of processing this stress that you might be dealing with. And we do want changes to stick. So like I was saying, we don't want to make drastic changes. Rather, we want to do them one step at a time. And again, pay attention to those eating behaviors. And since we're talking about mind today, it starts in the mind. Are you cleaning up your mind? So when you sit down to eat, are you, saying unkind things to yourself about your food choices? Are you saying unkind things to yourself about how your clothes fit or didn't fit this morning? Are you beating up on yourself and calling yourself a loser? I mean, none of these things will work to propel you forward in the direction you want to go. We're going to just continue to go in this cycle of being depressed and down and anxious, eating, depressed, down, and anxious. Right? It's a circle, and it's not going to get better unless you make some big shifts. So this week, we continue to work on like what, kind of cleaning up the mind. What habits can you give up? I want you to think about and get really curious about your eating behavior. What are you thinking when you sit down to eat? Who are you when you sit down to eat? Are you bringing your adult self to the table, or are you super stressed out and, eating while you're standing up? Are you even really hungry when you sit down to eat? So just get really curious. And the best thing to do is to keep a journal and just start to journal. Like I said in the beginning, you want to, think to yourself, what kind of things am I saying to myself? Get those mindset shifts. And instead of saying negative things, make a list of positive things. Like, I can do this. I am smart. I have lost weight before. I know it's humanly possible. I've done it. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I can do this. So create a great week, guys, and a great weekend. If I can help at all, just message me. If you need some extra help, just comment me below, and I'm happy to reach out to you via message and help any way I can to kind of help point you in the right direction and maybe see where you're struggling right now. Create a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.